Welcome. Today we're going to be going the internal rate of return of a investment property. The internal rate of return is an indicator that measures the efficiency of a real estate investment. It is normally used to rank several prospective real estate investments that you might be considering. Assuming all the factors are equal among the different investments, the real estate with the highest internal rate of return will probably be considered the best. With that said, we're going to go over a simple example on how to calculate the internal rate of return so that you can do it yourself. In this example, we are assuming that we are having an initial investment of $50,000, and then we have projected cash flows for the next 10 years. This is assuming that we're going to be holding the property for 10 years. As you can see, the annual cash flow which comes from rents increases, and that's due to inflation. In step number one, the first thing that we need to do is we need to try different discount rates for the future cash flows. Essentially, the internal rate of return you need is a trial and error calculation that by trying different discount rates, you have to find the discount rate that will match the that is going to match your required rate of return. Essentially, it's going to bring the future cash flows to discount it to the present, and it's going to match your internal rate of return. Now, this is a very time-consuming process. We are, in this case, our calculated internal rate of return is 39.4, and we arrived to that number by plugging in different discount rates. We're not going to go through that lengthy process because it's very time consuming, but we're going to tell you how, when we got to plugging in 39.4, how do we get to our desired results and identify 39.4 as the internal rate of return of the property. So essentially, we start with year one, and we need to bring the projected cash flow to the net present value of today, and that's calculated by dividing the annual cash flow by the internal rate of return. This is the value that we're plugging in, plus 1 to the power of that year. And essentially, the net present value of a future cash flow just means how much is that money worth today. There is a concept that states that a dollar today is worth more than a dollar that you earn in 2 years. And what is that? Because of inflation. You can buy more with the dollar today than you can buy with the dollar that you get 2 years from now. Additionally, if you get the dollar today, you can invest that dollar and earn interest and capital gains from that dollar in 2 years. So that's why a dollar that you have in your hands today is worth more than a dollar that you get in your hands a year from now, 2, 3, 4, 5 years from now. So what we're trying to say is, I know I'm going to be getting, or I am expecting to get, a dollar 2 years from now, but how is that worth? How much would that be worth today? Okay, and that's what we do with each and every projected cash flow that we have for every year, using the same formula. So we proceeded plugging in the different values, so forth. So 9, 39.4, and we do the same for all the calculations, and until we get to year 10, which is the last one, which we do the same again. And then the next step is to add up all those the net present values that we had calculated. So we add them up, and then that gives us, when we add up all this kind of cash flows, 50,004, which is the exact amount that we had invested in the first place. Okay. and that is the validation. I'm going to show you. It's $50,000. That is the validation that tells us that by plugging in different internal rate of returns into the formula, 39.4 is the one. Why is it the one? Because when we plug in 39.4 in the formula, we arrive to the $50,000 that we already put as an investment. Or approximates. It's not always, it doesn't match 100% all the time. The higher the internal rate of return, the better. It's up to you as to what you expect your internal rate of return to be. In our case, we want only accept properties that have an internal rate of return of 10 or more. Ours exceeds that by far, which is 39.4. This is a very time-consuming calculation. As you can see, you need to get an arbitrary number and plug it in and start going down or up, depending on what you get, until you find a match. You could spend a few hours just trying the different combinations and permutations. But there is a mobile app that allows you to calculate the internal rate of return on its own, so you don't have to do it yourself. It also calculates many other real estate indicators. The name of that app is RealBench, REAL, B as in boy, E, N as in Nancy, CH, RealBench. So go to realbench.net, and you can find out more about it. Or you can go to Google Play or the Apple Store and search for RealBench, and you will find it that way as well. So thank you for your time, and that explains the internal rate of return.